What builds a story, shapes a narrative.
Sense of place, experience, characters.
Discovering yourself, discovering something new.
The sounds, the tastes.
The music, the view.
It's feeling part of something, being at the heart of something.
It's what brings you here to be there.
It's the history, the heritage, the wild Atlantic ways.
It's the Causeway coastal route.
Makes you want to stay.
It's exploring the riverfront, walking the walls.
It's the Peace Bridge, the Diamond, the Bald Side, the Guildhall.
It's the fair trade at the trade fairs.
It's the street food, it's the restaurateurs.
It's a taste of greatness, the festivals, the culture.
It's Loch Foyle, and the world is your Irish flat oyster.
It's a gateway to authenticity.
A flavour that's regional.
It's all that jazz. It's artisan, traditional.
It's the sun setting through glasses raised.
It's the people you're with, the journey shared.
It's a place with a big appetite for innovation.
It's no ordinary story, it's a destination.
Unique, bespoke, ancient, contemporary.
And it's yours. It belongs to you. The story within the story.
It's no longer a little acorn.
It's legendary.
Good afternoon, or just about good afternoon. Welcome back to Level Up 2021. This is the second of 6 sessions. We've got 12 hours of content going out over 2 days. I can't wait to get on with this next section, which is just so important to the economy and how much we need to support it going forward over the next 12 to 18 months. So we're going to be talking about the future of retail on the high street today. So just to give you a bit of a heads up, in case you didn't come to session 1, Level Up is a 2-day blended digital and real life event. This is the real life element. Everything else is digital, looking at ideas, innovation and inspiration from around the world. Thinking specifically here around the pandemic, people that have raised up and supported the industry during those 12 months, and maybe the big ideas that are going to shape the world going forward. It's in partnership with the Derry and Strabane District Council. Big shout out to Laverne, Louise, all the team there who've done an amazing job with Enterprise Week this year. It's not just us, there's other things going on, but we've just done Smart Places and Rural Innovation, which was a great session. Fran, what else have we got to come over the next 2 days?
So as Alistair said there, next we're going to be exploring the future of retail and the high street, followed by entrepreneurship and innovation, a bit of health and wellness. We'll also look into social change, inclusion and diversity.
Excellent. This is the only time in my life that I've really thought I could be a blagger and get away with it. And obviously, if I can just talk for 2 days without anyone telling me to stop, happy days, Fran. So at Level Up, we're learning about what change and opportunity exists to thrive in this new economy. Be that as you sitting at home on your own, or a company listening in, a manager listening in, or as a region. So we're going to look at all of those areas.
Absolutely. We'll be chatting to John Hoyle, who is a prop tech founder, real estate professional and experienced MD across international markets. He is committed to developing social ventures for profit in the UK and beyond. We'll also be talking to an industry leading panel. And as well as that, in this session, you will get the chance to support 2 to 3 early stage startups as they pitch to industry experts and investors as part of the Level Up Startup Pitch Competition to win £2,000.
Excellent. Just a big shout out to my mum and dad listening at home in Suffolk. I've not seen them for about 14 months. So if you're listening in, hello, mum and dad. I hope to see you soon. Danny's laughing in the background there. It's not that funny, Danny. But I just wanted to kind of start on that note. It's been tough for everyone, hasn't it? Obviously, people, business, but certainly the retail and hospitality sector. And that high street has been taking a kicking for the last 2, 3, 5, 10 years anyway. DW Sports, Carphone Warehouse, Cap Kitson, Arcadia, Bon Marsh, Debenhams, Oasis, Warehouse. They're all massive names that have gone. But then you go thousands of independent retailers that are unlikely to reopen post-pandemic. What are we going to do about it? And I think that's what we're trying to achieve with something like the session for the next 2 hours, is get some inspiration of what we can do to support the sector. Step Forward Souq, one of the judges' top picks at Retail Week's top 50 global tech startups, shining a light on innovative solutions that can support the retail sector, both in the pandemic and going forward. Let's find out more about Souq in this short explainer, and then we'll chat to John Hoyle, the founder of Souq, to find out more. Thank you.
Have you ever dreamt of setting up a shop, hosting an exhibition, or running a wellness class? Then Souq is the solution. Souq is an adaptive retail space, available to book by the hour and personalised to you. Pick from Souq's growing network of locations and bring your vision to life in an instant with our ultra-high-res digital walls. Customise the walls from anywhere in the world to transform your Souq with the touch of a button. The Souq Builder makes space design quick and simple. Just add images, videos, text and web pages to adapt the digital canvas. Immerse yourself in design with our 3D preview tool. View your Souq from every angle and make as many edits as needed ahead of your booking. Once your booking begins, your design is displayed for you and your audience in the physical space. Customize the music and lighting, then pick from our bespoke furniture to complement your interiors. Choose from tables, chairs, plinths, hanging rails and more to give your Souq the perfect finishing touches. From design to staffing, the entire process can be managed remotely. Whether you're based abroad or working from home, Souq has got you covered. Book by the hour and never pay for even a minute more than what you need. With our flexible availability and affordable rent, Souq lets you connect with your customers at the times that matter most and at a price that makes sense. Souq is your space, your way.
I take it we're back live in the room. Just looking to meet with John Hoyle. So hopefully John's kicking in now and joining us on Zoom. Hello. Look at that, virtual background and all.
Oh, wow, fantastic. John, thank you so much for being here with us today. Brilliant video, really enjoyed hearing more about Souq and what you're doing and what you aim to do into the future. And I suppose just on that topic then, it's obviously a bit of a blend now of digital being brought into the physical experience of the consumer. Can you see that being more and more popular as consumers venture back out onto the high street? Can you see it more of a blend of digital and physical experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not only because there are more brands online than there ever have been before, so there's a massive amount of demand from all of those guys wanting to get into physical space and engage directly with their customer, but also because people on our streets are fed up of the boring mix of kind of standard brands that we're all used to, that are the only ones that have been able to survive in the really high fixed cost environment of the high street until now. And so our solution's allowing all of those smaller brands that are really exciting and interesting and authentic to engage on a level playing field with some of the incumbents who till now have been, their whole defensibility has been the fact that they're the only ones who can afford to have shops.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so pop-up shops, they're not new. Obviously, it's not a new concept. So how are you differentiating yourself from, I know, the traditional pop-up in that sense? Well,
we're not really actually about retail. Retail is a part of it, but our spaces are multi-purpose. It's about amenity, activity, wellness, fitness, education, workplace. High-value retail hours are actually a really small segment of a week. And when you think about it, it's kind of crazy that our shops have this static solution from a Monday to a Saturday. High Street's a completely different place. So what we provide is a platform that allows people to retail at the right time, but not to have a static loss-leading shop at times when customers aren't shopping. Allow other people to use the spaces in those times for all sorts of other things at the right price.
Yeah, that's actually something that really struck me when I watched the video there, was that, my goodness, there's so many ways that this could be used, this solution for any sort of industry, for any sort of business. It's quite incredible. So then, in terms of, obviously a lot of traditional high street shops are used to working with landlords and office spaces to agree certain times and etc. How then do you work with landlords and agents to agree to a more flexible rental period then to suit your business model?
So we're not a tenant. We're kind of the anti-WeWork, if you guys know how that model works, which was lots of leases, lots of very expensive fit outs. We don't do any of that. It's a super light fit out. We don't take any risk on occupation. We ask the landlord to take all of that risk, but what we provide is them with the majority share of any revenue that we produce, which is great for them. It makes more money than a traditional lease would have done. But what we do is essentially, by thinking about space, thinking about shops in terms of time and not space, we divide a week up into 120 different hour-long slots. We charge a small premium for the flexibility that affords the occupier. An occupier can take, 5-6 hours, which is way cheaper than having to take a shop for a week. But all of those slots individually add up to something that's actually a much bigger pot for the landlord than it would have been through a headline lease. So they're taking more risk, which they don't like, but they're getting more income, which they do. And that's really pushing the real estate industry into an area where it's not traditionally comfortable. But the opportunity, of course, is that there's so much vacancy that they really do finally need to start thinking differently about how to address high streets. And that's why we've got such an overwhelming response from landlords, because they are out of options at the moment.
I was going to say that. I mean, obviously, the cards are not in the landlord's hands at the moment, are they? Obviously, in terms of the high street generally, anyway. Scotland, I believe I just read the other day that you just agreed your first contract. Is it in a shopping centre? Where is that in Scotland? And obviously, how did you manage to get that?
Yeah, it's really exciting. So the biggest development in Edinburgh since the castle is a brand new shopping centre called St James's Quarter, anchored by a big John Lewis and a W hotel. Brilliant for Edinburgh, and it's brilliant for us that we're going in there. I mean, how do we get in there? I mean, we've got a pipeline of 65 sites in the UK, so landlords are generally pretty excited about us. And Nuveen, who are the asset manager that own St James Quarter or developing it, are forward-thinking landlord. They know that things have got to be different. You can't just expect everyone to sign up to a 10-year lease like they did in the old days. But also they're really serious about community. And what Souq does is it suddenly activates in space 120 hours of the week, but it also gives local people from Edinburgh the opportunity to come and access a space for all sorts of things. We've already got a huge interest around the Fringe Festival, around wellness, fitness, all these key uses that just wouldn't be able to afford to get into this amazing new shopping centre under the normal terms. And the other bit that they love about it is the ability for us to send all our London brands and Cambridge brands to Edinburgh at the touch of a button. It's a digital fit out. So it's really easy for you to suddenly be a local brand and try different locations that would be, frankly, a real challenge to do in physical space in other scenarios. So we hope to, have Edinburgh brands coming to London the next day and London brands going the other direction. And that's great for customers. It's great for startups. It's great for the bigger brands. It also gives established shops the opportunity to try places without making that like 5 to 10 year commitment and see whether actually consumers want their product, which is really exciting.
How exciting. Isn't that amazing?
It reminds me of one of the startups that's pitching in this session, not in terms of the industry, but in terms of the business model. Hill Street Hatch, they're pitching in a wee bit. Quite an interesting model. Chefs come in, they get the opportunity to work with a pop-up hospitality catering space. If it works, happy days, they can go and have something a bit more permanent, but at least you don't have the long-term commitment. And I'm imagining that's quite a pull for retailers, especially, well, not just retailers, sorry, but anyone who wants to have a physical space but wants to test it first. So is this like a high-end cost, or is it something that's affordable, obviously, like for community groups and stuff like that as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's at its cheapest, it's £10 an hour. At its most expensive in Oxford Street, it's £350 to £400 on a Saturday, which, it's designed to be like, I guess the way we might use like EasyJet. If you really want to save money, you travel at an hour that perhaps you wouldn't choose. If money is not an object, you travel when it suits you. And our pricing completely reflects that. But what's good about that is it means that you can have a small budget and you can drum up footfall to whatever it is you're doing there. You can have a really concentrated event. It will cost you hundreds of pounds, not tens of thousands like a normal shop would do. And the landlords love that because suddenly we're driving all these exciting mini events that drive interesting footfall to these shopping centres that they wouldn't otherwise have, and are really efficient for the people who are running them. There's nothing worse than the old model of a static shop across 7 days a week, where you spend at least 70% of that week twiddling your thumbs, because people don't just walk into shops just because you're there. You've got to work harder than that. And we're hoping to essentially free up people's budget to market it, do exciting stuff, showcase in a completely different way. And then like there's the amenity factor. I mean, we've had a marriage proposal. The guy booked the space for an hour, turned it into a shrine to his girlfriend and proposed to her. I love that.
Oh, really?
We have baby massage, hypnobirthing, but at the other end of the we have charity. We have hoping to do a deal with like a domestic violence business charity who are creating a safe space for women on a Tuesday morning when no one's shopping anyway. That space can be used for something really exciting. And the opportunities are massive, and we're thinking about lateral occupation. Like, will a retail bank, we all seeing bank branches closing down because it's like these branches are operating at about £250,000 a customer. Why not take a Souq space 12 till 3, 6 days a week, have that moment of human engagement, which is the only reason any of us go to branches anyway, and then be out, go save the money, keep your customers happy, do it on a cadence that people recognize and is understandable, and ultimately drive efficiency and utility using spaces that we've got tons of. That's the crazy thing. Our country, well, the developed markets are full of empty shops. We just need to use them better.
Yeah, I love that, because over the pandemic, obviously, as you mentioned previously, we've seen so many e-commerce businesses springing up, and they're thinking, okay, this is an accessible way for me to trade. And they're probably thinking that actually having a physical premises is quite far down the line for them, and maybe something that wouldn't be as accessible. But something like this solution is giving them that opportunity that they probably never realized they had. So it really is incredible, and the scope is absolutely massive.
Yep. Last question, John. Where's your long-term vision for Souq? Can you imagine this in every high street across the UK and Ireland, further afield, Europe, the States? Where are you going with this?
Well, the goal is an international network, because actually that's the power in it for occupiers. The idea, as I said, that it's not just, I'll be in Edinburgh or London. It's, I'll try our Polish sites. We've got 10 coming in South Africa, 2 in Poland, up to 90 potentially in Japan. How exciting is it that a local, like Scottish, Irish, English brand can not just test customers locally, but potentially reach a global market through physical space in a really engaging way. And we're built for scale. It's super light touch. It's, a landlord interacts with us, a bit like you or I have a relationship with our mobile phone device. You pay for it over a subscription, effectively rent it. You don't pay for the fit out upfront, it's spread over the cost. And because it generates significant revenues, most of those costs are dealt with by the future revenue anyway. So we hope we can be everywhere. And that's definitely our ambition. Watch this space to see whether we manage to achieve that lofty goal.
Watch this space literally, I'd like to think as well. Obviously, if we can see one on one of our high streets soon as well, John. And it just reminds me a little bit of the early social media days, when all of a sudden you could use social media to reach a global audience. You're kind of using the same mythology in a sense, obviously, with creating physical spaces and that, like you say, light touch. So we're really delighted to have you here.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say, I mean, the wheel's kind of gone full circle. When it became really easy to create an online website and start marketing your stuff, that was a huge game changer. But now it's so hard and expensive to get noticed online that physical space can provide you with that little competitive edge and the halo effect to drive online sales. So we really hope to be, I don't know, the Wix or the WordPress, or I don't know, the AWS for physical space.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's great, isn't it? And John, I'm delighted that you came and joined us today. I hope to have another chat with you. I'm sure we both do, to see where you're at in 12, 18 months time. And hopefully we can invite you back to Level Up, or what we call it next year, I'm not sure, in 2022. So obviously good luck for the next 12 months. And thank you for supporting the retail and the wider community space as well.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, John. Take care. Thank you. Isn't that brilliant?
Unreal.
I absolutely love it.
That's incredible. And I love how there's so much chat at the minute around the high street kind of being dead, and they're thinking, oh God, okay, we have to move online.
Yeah.
But there's now that opportunity to think, well, why not do both?
Yeah.
You know, and take a blended approach as we talked about into, you know, partly physical space and partly online too.
Yeah.
That's really inspiring stuff.
And it's important that we look at this from an open pair of eyes. It's not that the high street is dead. It's just it needs to change its message and it needs to change what its purpose is.
And think into the future and be innovative. And there you
Yep,
go.
absolutely.
That's the theme of today.
Thank you, John. What's up next, Fran?
So what is up next? That is a good question. So now we'll have a panel discussion, which is drawing on and looking at innovation, both locally and from around the globe. So we've actually just pretty much touched on that, but we'll discuss the future of the high street and the retail sector.
Good stuff. I think there might be a little VT that runs just for a minute beforehand. I think it's important we support local business. So let's just cut to a quick advert where we just do just that.
Hi, my name's Trevor Mealiff. I'm from Cafe Fresco up in the Pavilion Retail Park in Strabane. We've been here 13 years and with 22 employees. Since the lockdown, we've completely refitted the restaurant out. So we now are open for takeaways on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, and we also do a good range on our Sunday lunches. Yeah, I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to all our customers. And remember that it's so important to support local businesses because your small spend goes a long, long way.
Right, great stuff. We're back in the room. This is not my living room. It's the first time I've not been on Zoom in my living room for the last 12 months. Thankfully, not the bedroom, if anyone's asking at home. Just to touch on obviously what John is doing, and then obviously all of our panelists that are coming to join us now. We've tried to merge a digital and a real life physical space environment here with the panelists, because I think what we've touched upon so far with John is it's not going to be a case of just coming back, everything being the same as normal and being able to survive in business. We're going to have to be a little bit innovative in the sector to kind of see how we can drive it forward as well. So I'm delighted, obviously, that we can now come to a panel, which is including Peter McCall, Cormac Quinn, let me have a look, Samantha Paul, Kieran Murray, and Gemma Duffy. I'll let you do all your introductions so that I don't have to do them all. We've got Cormac coming in, Peter coming in, just while everyone else joins us. Peter, if you want to start by introducing yourself.
Yep. I'm Peter McCall from Purley. We're based down in Newry here. My background, actually, I spent about 10 years in hospitality, which served me quite well coming into the retail space because it's all about customer service. So I've been in the retail technology business for just over 10 years now. So we have a number of shopping centres here in Ireland, UK, Portugal, and yep, that's me.
Excellent. Samantha, if you want to go next.
Hi, good morning everybody. My name's Samantha Paul and I recently opened up the Love Local Hub in Milton Keynes in the shopping centre. So we opened up in December and then we've been shut until we opened up again on the 12th of April. But we've got 75 independents in the store in bricks and mortar in a sort of top 10 shopping centre. But we're a startup. So
love it.
Yeah,
Samantha, love what you're doing. Congratulations. And actually, it's the second time that Milton Keynes has been mentioned.
I was sort of wondering, I was like, what's the link here with Milton Keynes?
Milton Keynes. We are linking Derry Strabane to Milton Keynes all in one go. So that's joining the dots. Happy days. Let's go to Cormac Quinn.
Oh, Cormac.
Cormac, your audio there. There you go.
Rookie.
There we go.
I think no, not.
Yeah, I'm Cormac. I'm the founder and CEO of LEVELUP. My background, however, is technical. So I would have been a software engineer at a local indigenous company, software company, Kanos, and also in American Express for a time where I guess I gained an affinity for loyalty. But my personal connection to loyalty was really just around a frustration and a bugbear with, you know, crappy loyalty schemes and per paper cards, and that's why I then started LEVELUP about 3 years ago.
Excellent, excellent. And then Kieran, and I can see you've had your hair shaved. What's going on?
Yeah, it's a failed lockdown haircut that I've just kept now. You're my hero, Alistair, so I'm just copying you.
Good call, good call. No, fair enough. Kieran, just you have many hats to wear on that head. So explain a few, and most focused on retail, I'd say.
My name's Kieran Murray. I many things. I've been a programmer, graphic designer. I'm most probably well known for being a satirist and a writer. And I write Pure Dairy and the Ulster Fry. I've got about 40,000 fans on Facebook locally on Pure Dairy platform, and about 120 on the Ulster Fry. But I started recently to get into the idea of supporting local businesses through some of my platforms, and we've launched a new online retail venture called the Pure Dairy Market, which brings together essentially, it's kind of like a local Etsy/Amazon, which is offering local sellers an opportunity to join our platform. So it's a multi-vendor platform. So we've got about 50 sellers now on there just in the first 3 weeks. And we've about another 50 due to come on. So it's going really well. And it's all to support local businesses, to keep money in the local economy. And it's to try and generate interest in circular economies, really. So so far so good. We've got our own range of merch now out that we're trying to use to support the market as well. So it's all going pretty well. But yeah, there's a lot of hats to wear, Alistair, as you know.
There is a lot of hats to wear. If you had that merch with you now, I would let you show it on screen as well, because it's pretty good.
Yeah, but I mean, I probably in hindsight should have got like one ready to show you, but yeah, it's you know what, it's they're actually all in production at the moment. I think a few people are asking for them, but they're all currently in production. So we're going to be sending them all out the end of next week. So we've had a
now you can tell from the accent I'm not a Derry boy originally, but like I could wear a Colmore t-shirt and get away with it, so that's all right. So I'll wait and see on that one. Listen, we haven't got Gemma with us yet, and it could be a technical thing, it might not be, but I'm just going to give a shout out to Independent Derry alongside. And Kieran, I know you do stuff with Gemma as well. She's got an amazing kind of loyalty card that you can use and go into local shops and use. I think she's got about 80, 90 plus different brands and organizations on it that basically, if you go in, you get 10% off. She's done a great job supporting the independent kind of hospitality and retail scene in Derry for probably 4, 5, 6 years. If she doesn't meet us today online, check out Independent Derry as well, because she does a great job.
I thought I heard her. I think she just needs to turn her camera on. Maybe.
Can you hear me now?
I think you need to turn your camera on.
So the reason I don't have the camera on, I've explained this to Alistair. I've currently got an eye infection. My eyes are like 2 puffballs, so I look ridiculous. But I am here.
You are there. Apologies.
That's okay.
We didn't see you there.
Yeah, we're selling sunglasses on the Pure Dairy Market from a local seller.
Have to get a pair.
No, happy days. Let's start obviously with Samantha, because obviously you're doing something innovative in Milton Keynes. I just want you to kind of give us a little summary of the last 12 months of retail. It can't have got much worse, can it, for the sector?
No. And like last week, we were saying, like last week, the buzz of people wanting to get in the shops was just immense. Like we had an amazing first week, everyone was just buzzing, and then this week it's all gone quiet, and it's a little bit worrying. Like, you know, is this going to carry on, or are people waiting for the next date of the 17th of May when they can sit inside restaurants and things again as a group of 6? So it's been a bit strange. If you spoke to me last week, I would have been absolutely buzzing, and this week we you know, it's been a little bit more, the reality maybe's kicked in of retail in April, because obviously our experience of 18 days before Christmas, you know, £25,000 went through the till, you know, in 18 days, all going back into small business pockets. Amazing. And I'm quite similar to one of the other gentlemen on the panel. I sort of run mum to mum Milton Keynes, so I've got sort of 25,000 followers, members, so everyone's been coming to the store, and you know, we've got amazing PR. So, you know, and I think that's what it's about, is bringing the community in. So yeah, it's I think it's still a little bit, the initial buzz of we can go back in shops lasted about a week, I think. So I'm quite interested to see how the rest of this month and the next month goes.
Before Fran kicks in there, I'm just going to say we're a little bit behind you guys as well. So we can't go anywhere yet really that much at all, apart from obviously just the main essential shops, so we should say, for another week or two. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's sort of towards the end of the month we're getting things back open, so leave it behind.
So, but fingers crossed, we obviously can pick up, and I can expect obviously the similar type of thing. And Peter, obviously with what you do, obviously it must have been quite a tough 12 months. Have you found obviously that there's more optimism now than there was 2-3 months ago? And I suppose what comes next for your business?
I don't know, obviously everybody's excited about we now have a date to get back and all, but I think there is a lot of concern. People just want to get back open and see what the first few months are like and then make decisions. But it's going to be a hard next 6 months at least for all retail, blue chip retailers or independent retailers. As Samantha just said, brilliant first week, bit of a dip this week. It's the fear of the unknown. Nobody knows what it's going to be like, and we're just all hoping that people come back. But look, there's no doubt about it. Physical shopping will never go away. People love shopping for multiple reasons. It's just the uncertainty, and people are just a little bit wary about going back shopping. Like from our point of view, like COVID, it's sort of it's an analogy to what was happening to retail. Like, so COVID affected those most vulnerable. And it's the same within retail as those with the underlying conditions that it affected the most. But ultimately, those with a core solid business model and a good product and customer service will survive. But it's just the next 3 to 6 months will tell the tale.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, it's going to be a difficult but interesting time ahead. And I know my own father has a hospitality business, and I'm constantly trying to think of ways, how might the last 12 months change how we work in the future? Will there be any practices or solutions that have sprung up over the pandemic that maybe might stay in the sector? So I'd be really keen to hear your thoughts on that. Are there any innovative solutions or any changes you've seen in the sector that you think will actually stay? And what are they?
Yeah, well, funny, I was just reading one. There's I looked at the American market a lot because it seemed to be a wee step ahead in certain circumstances. And I see Best Buy are doing a new subscription model for $200 a year, and you get 24/7 concierge service, you get technical support, you get offers, you personalize offers. And I think it's just being innovative. It's those retailers that aren't continuously innovating are the ones that are going to be left behind, because consumer expectations have risen through the whole online experience, personalized experience. But ultimately, physical retail has the upper hand in so much as I mentioned at the start, people love shopping. They love the whole social element of it. They love the immediate buzz of getting something that they want and trying and so on. But in my opinion, anyway, it all ultimately boils down to customer service. And I think that comes from my hospitality industry experience. If you provide your customers with an extremely good level of customer service, personalization, as simple as saying hello and goodbye and welcome back, and knowing, teaching your staff how to treat every different type of customer. So if a smaller person comes in, a bigger person comes in, somebody with learning disabilities, and if your staff know how to treat every one of your customers will love you for it. They'll keep coming back, and they'll tell everyone they know about your business. Obviously, you need the right products and stuff too, but ultimately, customer service is what it's all about in physical.
We've noticed that actually, and the amount of people who came in at Christmas and they wanted us to open again, and like we've just seen all repeat customers come through the door. So it is amazing, isn't it? And I think people do want to support local. They want to feel part of the community, and they are loyal. You know, when you treat them right, you're exactly right. And they've come in to talk to people. They just love having that conversation. You know, with the coffee bike guys, and you know, I think that a lot of people have been lonely, haven't they? So it's that outreach for them, that space to go.
Before we come to Cormac and Kieran, because obviously there's that digital element and the online and merging that with the physical as well. Samantha, just explain a little bit about the pop-up business that you have and the fact that you mentioned, I think it was 60 odd local retailers into that space in main shopping centres as well? Because Gemma, who's on this as well, and I would love to have a bit of back and forth here, is supporting a big number of local retailers and hospitality businesses in Derry Strabane. So how have you managed to be able to pull them all into one space? Because I think that's an interesting model, and certainly in shopping centres as well.
Yeah, so my business model, my other business is an advertising agency. So I've got a loyalty card, the same with all of the businesses in Milton Keynes have put an offer on. I've got a local magazine, got a Facebook group which has got the 20,000 members in it, and kind of do networking business events as well. So once we opened the shop, all of those businesses who had products then had somewhere to put their products. And obviously, again, put it all on Instagram and everything. And they wanted to be in the shopping centre because in its prime, it is a top 10 shopping centre location. We had to have a lot of negotiation with the shopping centre. So we've actually got a unit at, an amazing price because they want it as their CSR kind of sort of initiative. So they're really in it as well, and they're supporting us because without their help, we wouldn't have been able to do it. And so now we've got 75 businesses involved, and I think we are going to have to go down the subscription model so that they pay a certain amount each month to be able to keep going. But we were torn between the CIC, the Community Interest Company, because once business rates kick in, obviously we're all right at the moment, but once business rates kick in, it's not the same everywhere in the country. So in most areas, you get 80% discount on the business rates if you're a CIC. However, in Milton Keynes, it's discretionary. So if the 100% business rates come in, we'll have to shut the shop. So, but there's a lot of people talking about that now, isn't there? In government and sort of a lot of the entrepreneurs are going in and trying to fight for the business rate. So, yeah, everybody loves it. And we're trying to now and get some of the bigger businesses to sponsor the small businesses, because we see that as a way forward, so we can give the space even cheaper. Because obviously we can't give the space for free because we have got overheads. Because they basically put their stuff on the shelf and they leave it there, and we man the shop. We run all the customer service, bag it, gift bag it, everything else. So this is our first one, and the idea was to have more, but we'll see how we grow.
No, great. And congratulations for what you've done and during the 12 months of the pandemic. So it's brilliant. And Gemma, I wanted to ask you then, touching on that, obviously you're working with a lot of independents. Yeah. Has there been any call to do something similar where you have an independent dairy physical space where you're able to have all these brands in one place? And what can we do to encourage that with the likes of the shopping centres here or the local council? What do we need to do to help you, Gemma, if that's even an aim?
Yeah, so it's something I've always wanted to do, is possibly open an independent dairy shop and involve a lot of the businesses who are on there. I think there's a real need for it at the minute. I actually, just talking about community and trace companies, I've recently set independent dairy up as a community and trace company, just on that basis as well, that you can access more funding to roll out projects like yours. So I've done that just after Christmas there, but I'm currently working on a trailer at the minute, which is going to provide a space for small businesses to sell their products. So something similar, but on a smaller scale, but hopefully it's a stepping stone in that direction. They maybe having an actual store someday.
Totally. And obviously, like Debenhams comes to mind, obviously in Foleside, I'm not saying you would ever want to take a space that size, but there's lots of empty space here at the moment. So I would encourage any of the big landlords obviously out there to look more creatively at how they can support the small business sector at the moment. Cormac, I wanted to then touch on that because you've been doing some great work with Visa, thinking of obviously what Samantha mentioned, obviously in terms of the corporate sector supporting small business. So can you explain a little bit about that and how it's been supporting retail?
Yeah, absolutely. It might be actually good to give you a quick overview of what LEVELUP does and how we help SMEs. So we help SMEs create their own tailored and data-driven loyalty schemes, Alistair, so that they can then use, attract and retain customers and use our platform to understand who their customers are. Essentially, in fact, we have introduced a new technology that it means that your bank card now becomes your loyalty card. So it removes friction from the process of earning points and rewards when you're shopping locally. It encourages customers to just pay by card or contactless and earn the rewards automatically. So that's kind of what we do. We're up and running with over 60 stores and expanding very quickly. We have stores now in NI and ROI and GB. But yes, just over the summer there, we partnered with Visa. And the idea was to bring the platform to a lot more, thousands of SMEs, to help them have their own, very own data-driven loyalty scheme that helps them to compete and almost levels the playing field against online brands or massive multinational retailers who have the resources, who have the marketing teams and the technology, to do all this. So essentially just trying to democratize that. And when Visa saw the platform, they saw I guess the connection there. Obviously, they want Visa to be used across in many businesses as well. And it was just a nice match to support businesses with this platform.
Yeah, it's great to see, isn't it? Like that big corporate brand supporting local, and we touched upon it in the last session that we were running. That it's really important that corporates step up at this time, and obviously even Samantha, what you mentioned with corporates supporting the small retailers. Kieran, yours is more of a community approach, but kind of taking on the big person, if that makes sense. I'm not going to say big boy, I'm going to say person, and it's Amazon on this one, I would guess.
Yeah. Well, that's quite a lot.
What are you trying to achieve?
Well, I think ultimately what we're trying to achieve is to try and sort of harmonize local businesses and synergize that, I mean, I spent 20 years like pulling websites together for various clients and building e-commerce websites for them. And you still have that challenge where every single business out there on the high street, there always feels like there's a pull between being in a retail space or being online. I mean, ultimately you should be doing both if you're in retail, but the challenge for any retailer is that they need to invest in a website. They need to, get an e-commerce platform up and running. They need to, pay for a website developer, designer. That's all the stuff that I've done for 20 years is trying to help people on that journey. And so really the way that Amazon has won, in inverted commas, is by giving people lots of convenience in their hand for lots of different sellers. I mean, Amazon's model is all based on the premise of you can find thousands of products from thousands of sellers, well, millions of products now from thousands of sellers in one place. And so all that money that's spent on Amazon or on any of those platforms gets extracted out of local economies and never comes back. So the idea behind the pure dairy market is actually the inverse of what a lot of people say in here today, which is it's not necessarily about trying to support businesses to scale to massive levels. It's about actually supporting the need for people who want to support local, who are selling locally. And there's a massive turn I felt in the pandemic recently with people buying locally. I mean, you've seen this, Alistair, you've seen it yourself, that there's been a huge upspring of people selling local merchandise, local products, being loyal to the local economy and being proud of where they're from. So the pure dairy market actually inverts it the other way and actually tries to give a little bit of that convenience from something like Amazon to local sellers where they can find things on the one platform. So as I say, we've got about 50 sellers on there so far, and it's going really, really well. And obviously all the money spent on the pure dairy market stays local. But it does give sellers obviously the opportunity that they don't need to invest in a huge website. You don't need to be spending $3 to $5 grand on getting a Shopify website or a WooCommerce site and working with a developer. You just sign up, you agree to give the 10% commission, and then there's a couple of different plans that we're looking at now to sort of roll out. And we're looking at integration with Etsy, with Shopify, with WooCommerce, all these things that's gonna allow people to not have to update even the platform. You're right. It's a term of sort of fighting back, that if we can sort of ring fence some money in the local economy for people to be using something like the pure dairy market instead of Amazon or instead of Etsy, then we can help protect local jobs. But we're not naive. I don't think for a second that we're going to compete with Amazon and I'm going to be the next Jeff Bezos. But it's a good intervention. It's local and it gives people the opportunity to try and and compete. And we're already seeing it. I mean, the reaction to it has been phenomenal so far.
Yeah, I actually I work in marketing as well as working with startups, and we've noticed that with a lot of businesses we work with, we're saying, look, consumer behavior has changed. More and more people want to support local, they want to support small now.
Yeah.
So I suppose my question for the panel really is, do you think this will last? This desire to support local and shop at home? Or do you think 6 months down the line, people are going to think, okay, well, you know, I did spend a wee bit more money with those local businesses, now back to Amazon?
No, definitely. I think it's not just a trend. I think people are really starting to realize the importance of supporting your local businesses, your local community, and the roles that they play. That there's certain businesses that would be the pillars of the community. You know, you always need your butchers, your post office, your bank, and those types of businesses. They're always going to be a need for them. But pandemics just made people realize even more how much that we need to be using them, and I suppose I don't think it's going to end.
Yeah, I would just add into that. I think Jem is absolutely right. You know, we sort of know SMEs and local businesses are the absolute lifeblood of the economy, but the pandemic has really opened people's eyes to that a lot, and I don't think that's just going to be switched off right away. So consumers are going to be supporting local businesses, and we think this trend will absolutely continue. And just going back to corporates as well, you know, they're again looking to support local businesses, just like Visa, who are very passionate about it, and that's why they are working with us to support local businesses, and we expect that to continue as well.
Yeah, good point. And I just wanted to touch on that, Peter. Like obviously pre-COVID, you'd have had retailers measuring footfall as a KPI. Obviously with social distancing and you've got restrictions in place, it's probably not going to be just about the numbers anymore, is it? So what can retailers do now looking at regarding footfall? And is there any tech to help measure that? Indeed, is there any measurements in place to kind of convert footfall to rates of actual buying customers? And obviously a little bit more about what you do, I think, obviously within obviously the retail and kind of high street business.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. This is the perfect question for us. Like, to be fair, up until now, footfall has been used widely across retail, but in all honesty, it's a vanity metric. It doesn't really matter how many people cross your door, it's how many people buy stuff in your store. Like, and us being shopping centre focused, although we do a number of bids as well, footfall metric has always been a key one at quarterly tenant meetings. Oh, our footfall's been up 5% or it's been up 10%. There's always been a bite back from the smaller retailers. It's okay for the likes of Primark or whatever big anchor tenant there is, but if you're a smaller retailer in a shopping centre or even in a big district, you're going, that's great, the footfall's up 5%, but we're not seeing it. It's always a hard thing for shopping centres to manage, because obviously the big anchor tenants pay more into the budget, but I suppose it's based on the size of the store. So where we come in, so what we do is we do a customer engagement and customer loyalty things, and we do it rather different than everybody else. We don't use apps. We do it very, very simply. We use a very high-end technology. The technology we use was actually invented by the guy that invented Bluetooth, a guy called Terry Ashman over in South Africa. And literally we give people a little keyring. And why do people carry this keyring? Because they get all year round discount in hundreds of stores with the same little keyring. So we actually do the Richmond Centre in Derry. We do centres in Belfast and Newry, down south in Portugal. The same little keyring, you walk in, you'll get this all year round discount in hundreds of stores. But we also, we send them text messages. So when you enter, let's say Buttercream down here in Newry or Richmond up in Derry, you'll get text messages from people that when you signed up, you say that you want to get text messages from, and you get rewarded for your loyalty. So if you're in the Richmond Centre for over an hour, you get a free coffee. If you're in 3 times a week, you get free parking, and so on and so on. But the main metric, which leads on to the question that you've asked, is that we get measured on is conversion rates. And so when we launched the business, we were aiming for a 5% conversion. So a conversion being we send somebody a message, do they actually go into the store and buy a product? We are aiming at 5% based on a good online being 2.5%. We thought if we can double that, we'll be doing well. So for the last 2 years, we've been averaging 27% conversion rates, which is huge. So for every 100 messages we send out, 27 people go into that shop. But when you think about it, it's very, very simple. I go into the Richmond Centre in Derry, I'm getting a text message from a shop that I say that I want to get a text message from. That shop is literally in front of me or around the corner. I'm going to pop in. It's just so simple what we do. So conversions is definitely the ultimate KPI. Footfall's all right, give you an idea, but ultimately it's all about the conversions and getting people buying in your store. And that's
any work in Milton Keynes? Joining the dots there again with Samantha?
We are actually working with Milton Keynes in the bid. Well, we're only in early discussions with them, like, so we have a number of bids, but Milton Keynes is definitely on our radar.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I'd imagine, Samantha, that type of technology would be great. I mean, you'd get text 60 times, obviously, I'm assuming, if you've got all these pop-up brands in your space. How are you using digital to kind of pull back your customers' return, apart from, I know you mentioned Instagram, Facebook? Is there any technology you're using at your disposal to try and pull back customers and return?
Not at the moment, no. And we're just trying to work out, obviously, the loyalty, because we've got to get all 75 businesses to agree to like offer a 10% discount, because it all goes through the one till. So yeah, we're just working out the logistics of that, because that doesn't work in our setting.
Sorry, Samantha, what we have found is, yes, it's extreme. That's probably the biggest challenge with any loyalty or engagement scheme, is getting discounts. But it's not. We have one of our retailers is actually, or what do you call it? Forget the name of it now. It's not the Victoria's Secrets. What's the other ladies' underwear store?
Ann Summers?
Ann Summers is one of our clients, and they don't actually get an all year round discount, but they update their message at least twice a week, and they are seeing conversion rates 35–40%. So as long as you are engaging with your customers, letting your customers know about, look, come in and see this new line of this, or we've got new products, or whatever it is, as long as you're engaging and not just sending the same old boring message all the time, your customers have obviously signed up to hear from you, so they're interested in what you sell. So just keep them up to date with it, and it'll keep them coming back. And then ultimately back at the start, as long as you give them that customer service when they're in the store.
We've been doing immersive events as well. So at Christmas, we actually had a human mermaid in the bath, and it was hilarious, the amount of people who walked past. And then obviously all the independent like soap makers, all their soap was sort of that next sort of step that they saw, and the people just jumping out their skins. We've been trying to do more immersive events and things like that as well, just to try and think outside the box and you know, have different people coming in. But you're right, you've got to be tapping in. There was I was listening to something the other day about text marketing, and the opening rate for text marketing is much higher than email, social media and everything else. So
87–88%.
Yeah, it's something we need
it's huge. I'm a sucker for it, like I really am. Like when I get a text, like I'm straight on. It's terrible. And I'm actually one of the few probably young females in my 20s that wasn't much of an online shopper before the pandemic. I really wasn't. As you say, people love shopping. I loved shopping, but I loved going in and feeling and trying on. And now I'm getting these texts going straight online. I can't wait till things have opened up again, as you said.
But doesn't it go in circles? That's what I was going to ask you. Like, obviously, if everyone got text messages, I remember when I was at uni, you'd get 100 text messages a day. Now, apart from O2, I can't remember the last time I got one. So is it because you get less of them that you're more likely to open them? And what else can you see coming round in full circles? Are we back to mailers coming through your doors?
From our point of view, when you register to become a VIP, you decide how many texts you get per visit. So when you walk into a mall or down the town centre, you don't get 20 text messages, you only get 3 or 4 randomly selected. But you're right, it's because not many people send text messages these days. Your phone's constantly popping with WhatsApp and LinkedIn and Twitter and email and all the different things, and nobody sends text messages anymore. So when you get a text, and you can't turn text messages off, like you can't even delete the app from your phone. So when you get a text message, that's the first thing you do, open it, who's sending me a text message?
Yeah.
So yeah. Text message is hard to beat.
It's interesting, everybody here. It's like there's kind of split between digital and real, you know, retail out in the real world, and everybody's talking about, you know, the use of technology to get people to shop in retail. And Cormac, I was listening to you talking about, you know, about your solution. Funny, that loyalty card solution was something that I think me and Gemma talked about way back, you know, years ago. Like, how do you solve that idea of like having that, you know, like a loyalty card that just works regardless of where you go? So kudos to you guys for solving that. But it's interesting, like everybody's talking about, you know, retail in a space. You want to get your customer out to shop in a specific space. I said earlier that, you know, I see you have to be doing both, especially if you're a retailer. You have to be doing online and you have to be doing in a retail space. But what we're finding with the Pure Dairy market is that, especially since we launched our new range of teas, that we're getting a lot of customers from United States, from Australia, from, you know, across Europe, and it's the expat market that we're able to serve that you don't get, and that's been a really interesting demographic that we're able to tap into, which is people who are invested in the city, who are invested in Derry, and saying, you know what, I want to get a T-shirt, I want to get a print, I want to get there's stuff going to England and Scotland every day, prints from local photographers, etc. So that's really been really interesting to sort of cross over as a kind of as a Souq kind of, you know, model of a walk-in market that you can actually you know, get stuff from that is relevant to your home area. But I mean, I just listening to you guys talking, I mean, the whole concept of loyalty is one that ironically I haven't looked at doing yet on the Pure Dairy market. So you know, it's just been an interesting contrast.
But on that note, Gemma, I should ask you, obviously, like you've not just lived in Derry, you've lived elsewhere. Like, what are some of the USPs of, like, you know, the unique selling points of a retailer or a hospitality business being based in the city? And how do you help them, or how do you continue to help them? Because there's only so much you can do to drive footfall in a sense of a loyalty card. So what else can you do to help?
Well, we offer like different services, so like photography and social media management, or even like social media lessons and things like that. Just something as simple as being able to take a good photograph to post on your social media channels can be the difference of getting someone in the door or not. I think in all our cities, like I lived in Liverpool for 5 years on and off, and the council there seems to be a bit more lenient when it comes to the outdoor events and seating areas and pop-ups. You see there's a lot more happening in cities like that compared to Derry, but I think maybe the pandemic will push us in the right direction now.
Yeah, it's the amplification of that, isn't it? I'm sure, obviously, so Fran doesn't give credit, but you are the granddaughter of the Morellis, the ice cream. Is that right?
Yeah, so if any of you are familiar with the Morelli's ice cream, that is my family. Ironically, ice cream is probably like number 10 on my list of like favorite treats, but
don't say that, don't say that. But
I've been sick of cleaning off tables my entire life.
Yeah.
But I think the point there is that, you know, we really do need those supports of governments and local councils to be that bit more lenient, like you said, in Liverpool, to allow the outdoor seating and the outdoor events. You know, trying to even get some tables on the Port Stewart Promenade is a nightmare. But, you know, as we said, we really hope that the pandemic and that real need for increased support is going to amplify that a little bit, you know, because you know, my dad's a bit screwed now. When you only have maybe 5 tables outside, it's really hard when he can't open then until everyone else gets to open inside. So hopefully now it's given a bit of a wake-up call to local councils to really, okay, what more can we do for these local businesses? Because up to now it hasn't really been enough.
Yeah, I think we're all unified in probably thinking that the one thing that's connected people over the last 12 months is how much we've missed the real life and the real life physical space as well. And obviously the merging of obviously something what Kieran's doing, obviously with that your Derry marketplace, with the need to have like a pop-up space like Samantha and what you're doing, and then obviously the technology solutions, it all kind of joins together, doesn't it? It's not like one versus the other, it's all of us together trying to help support the scene and make it strong again. I think that's the most important thing. Last question from me, is there anybody out there you've seen doing something? I don't care if they're a competitor or not, but is there anybody out there doing something at the moment that's exciting, that kind of makes you think we need to look at that? Souq, obviously, that we've just seen is exciting. Can you think of anyone else in the space, retail or otherwise, that you'd like to give a shout out to? Open question.
Souq was the one I was actually going to mention just when I was looking over your questions in the email. It was the one that came to mind. I think it's a fantastic idea. It would be great to have something like that in Derry because there's a lot of creative people here and it suits all types of people and groups and communities. So it's a great idea.
Yep, 100%. Anybody else seen anything exciting?
Well, just to follow off on that, it's sort of in the same category, but I think you talked about Hill Street Hatch, Alistair, who are maybe coming on the call, just that concept of switching out the pop-ups. I think it's very, very cool. Great to see. And consumers are clearly very excited about it. The queues for the toasties were just insane.
The Toast Office, what a genius name.
Go on, Cormac, just explain that to anyone who doesn't know the toasties, please.
Well, I didn't get one myself, Alistair, but yes, it was a pop-up store in Hill Street Hatch called the Toast Office. Name, as you said. People just went crazy for them, absolutely crazy for them. So I'm gutted I missed out. I'm really excited to see their next pop-up.
Absolutely, and TikTok was where they found a lot of their audience as well. So I was on a call yesterday and I was talking to all these folk who were talking about how do we engage with young people, and someone mentioned newspapers and billboards, and I had to just put my head in my hands and say, they're not there, mate. Would you stop talking about these mediums that people don't use anymore? Yes, Samantha, anyone that's exciting that's out there?
No, I did get a little bit excited today because Harrods Beauty are opening up in the shopping centre, literally opposite us, and they're putting a champagne bar in. So again, it's bringing in this immersive, like they've realised, and what a great idea, get everyone drunk and then they spend lots of money. It's like, why can't we have a champagne bar?
Don't let me anywhere near that.
Yeah, it's changing, you know, and you know, everybody is having to do it, and we're just like, what my big thing is, I just wish we could all get all of these brains together in one room with the government in the room as well, because there's so many amazing people doing amazing things individually. I just wish we could all come together as a collective, because we're all working so hard individually, but if we all work together and rolled it out, you know, across the UK and across the world, it'd be much. I was on Clubhouse the other day and I had an offer to have a unit in Florida, because she was just like, I want you to come to Florida, this is amazing. And I was thinking, yeah, I'd love to go to Florida too. But I think, I just wish we could all collectively put our brains together, because I think we would create something amazing.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing the first year we haven't been able to travel, there's been more international conversation than ever. Because we've actually made that extra effort to reach out and talk to people across the globe. And I was saying that I ran an event a couple of weeks ago, and you know, someone that was presenting their granny was watching from Poland, and you know, in regular times that just wouldn't have happened. So it's actually quite amazing how that's taken place.
Peter, anyone that you've seen obviously out there you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I think it's very hard within retail, because over the last, look, as I said at the start, I think this trend was happening anyway, but I think a lot of retailers in their haste to compete with online have made the mistake of trying to replicate online and given the whole personalized experience and stuff like that. And the reality of it is, I've said this a few times, people go shopping because they love going shopping. They're going to meet their friends, or my wife's a prime example. I like my wife, I have to say my wife's amazing, but I'd say she's the average shopper. So when she's going shopping, she's going to get something for the kids, or she's going to get some clothes, or she maybe just going out to get out of the house away from me, but she just loves going shopping. And a lot of these fancy technologies actually detract from the shopping experience. Like you have all these VR and AR, and they may work in certain circumstances, but they don't work in the general circumstances. So I think a lot of retailers need to pull back and just think, what's going to make my customer happy here? And without distracting them from the actual shopping experience. Like in my experience, I've been around shopping centers across Europe, obviously not in the last year. And there's been some brilliant examples where they had big, massive clay parks and 100 feet tall tube slides for children to go down, and children play areas, and trampoline parks, and obviously cinemas. And I think we all know this, and everybody's been talking about it for the last while, but it needs, for retail to succeed, it needs to be a mix of children, entertainment, pubs, restaurants, residential, office. Just get everybody in together, and obviously that'll generate footfall and sales, but it definitely just needs to be mixed up. No more or less just 100% retail. I think that's the
good call, Peter. Kieran, last words to yourself as your Derry. Anyone that you've seen that you'd like to shout out?
I haven't actually probably lifted my head in about 5 months from what I've been building, as anybody here knows. If you've been building, and honestly, I think any of my knowledge of what's happening in the world is probably about 5 months out of date. I've been working that hard. So I was actually sitting thinking, who could I say? Who could I say? So I honestly, I just think I look more at what people are doing now. There's been a big shift. People saying to me with the pure dairy market, are you worried about when people's habits change, when things go back to normal? I don't think things will go back to normal. I think it will be a mix. I think people's buying habits now have changed. I am now in the habit, for instance, of ordering a bottle of wine or a couple of bottles of wine to the house and getting it delivered. You know, and all these services that have popped up over the course of the pandemic that have given people this sense of convenience, I think are going to stay. I think people are going to be like, well, we could do it before. Why can't we do it again now? I don't think it will fully go back to how it was before. I don't think it should do either. I think we should have a mix. But of course, I am also looking forward to getting back to the world as much as anybody. So as I say, I just believe that you know, interventions like ours you're going to start seeing these popping up across the world, these more localized interventions that are trying to offer a little bit of that convenience from the likes of Etsy or Amazon in cities across the world. It's already happening. Yep,
good stuff. And I think we can agree on one thing, that it's been a really tough 12 months, obviously, in retail, hospitality, the high street. We need to celebrate everybody that stuck at it and obviously continue to work hard over the last 12 months. And to a certain degree, the support that's been offered to them. I think we need to see that support going into post-pandemic now and how we can keep people open. I think that's probably going to be the next step, isn't it? And just making sure that people are supported when the grants end. And I think that's what we need to look out for.
Yeah, absolutely. And all the support systems and organisations have tried their best. Obviously, it's a completely unforeseen time for everybody, and they've tried to react to it and support as best they could. So yeah, I think just being mindful of that and understanding of each other, and as we've all talked about, just supporting each other and the local businesses we have. So
yeah, 100%. And big shout out to Gemma there, obviously, again, with what she's doing. I know we can't see her there, but what I would say, she made a great point about a more immersive experience as well with what Samantha mentioned. Obviously, the pop-ups, the entertainment, the street eating. Let's do all of that and see what works, what doesn't, but let's at least give it a go, I think, obviously, and let's hope that we come back 12 months from now, we can have a much better conversation about all the things that we've had success in over the last 12 months. So thank you all for your time today. Hope you stick with us for the next 8 more hours. We've got another 2 hours-ish today and then another 4 hours tomorrow. So 6 hours tomorrow. So if I'm not drunk by then, look after me. So thank you very much for your time today, guys. I'll see you all soon. Now, what are we doing now? We're going to have some startups pitching again, aren't we?
Yeah, we are, which is exciting. Love it. So we've 12 early stage NI startups pitching for Level Up Pitch competition at Derry Strabane Enterprise Week, which is obviously what we're in right now. Yeah. 2K cash prize, and that is awarded to the NI winning startup. So another massive thanks to our judges. On the panel, we have Beth Glenfield, who is a scout for Ada Ventures. We have Audrey Osborne, who's an investor at Tech Start Ventures. We have Nico Albanese, who is a senior associate at Ascension Ventures, local star angel investor Mary McKenna, and we have Dave Graham, technologist at Dell Technologies, PhD candidate at UC Smart Lab, and last but not least, Naomi Timperley, co-founder of Tech North Advocates.
What I probably should say on this one is we try to pick startups that link in some way to, pardon the pun with link, because Link Technology with Jonathan is in it as well. But we try to link to startups that are working in the retail, hospitality, high street space. So hopefully there's some synergy between the startups that are pitching and obviously the selection of the theme of this session. So first up, and they've been mentioned a couple of times, is Hill Street Hatch. It's Ryan Crown and Emma O'Kane. And as far as I remember, they're from County Derry, but are based in Belfast as well. Oh, and we're going to go to a quick advert first. Let's find out a little bit more about Green Cats.
I'm Claire Goodman. I'm the owner of the Green Cat Bakery. We're a small family-run artisan the bakery here in Eckland Village. We've been running the bakery for 8 years. We employ about 14 staff. We're most well known for our wide patisserie range and our famous all-day brunch. Since the beginning of the COVID pandemic, we've had to reorganise how we do things here at the Green Cat. So we developed an online presence, so we developed a website and a new online ordering system. We also changed our business during lockdown so that we were able to serve our customers through a hatch. I'd also like to say a special thank you to all of our customers who have shown such support for our business over the last few months. And thank you so much for choosing to support local. Your small spend makes a giant difference.
Happy days. Just before we go on, one of the things that we are sponsors for is an idea of how we could kind of like pay back in a sense because they've supported us. We were going to get them a lunch, they were going to get it delivered. And then we thought, you know what? What's better than supporting local Derry businesses and businesses in County Derry by basically just doing this, which is a legendary larder. James Huey has helped to organise that for us. That's from the Wall City Brewery. Fran doesn't know we're doing this, but this is just a thank you for the support that you're doing. We've given us some support for today.
Oh, thank you so much.
Have a look at obviously those while we have a look at the first startup, but there's 5 or 6 really decent. One should be an oyster beer, by the way, that's in there, and I had a couple of those last night, so thank you very much. So we'll go to Hill Street Hatch, and then we'll come back to see what Fran got.
Away you go.
So yeah, we're Hill Street Hatch. Over the last 5 years, we've worked with some of the best hospitality brands and groups across New York and the US, including world's best bars, Michelin star restaurants, pizza slice stores, and everything in between. We've recognized that the process of actually launching hospitality ventures is outdated and the risks are now higher than ever, even more so in the last 12 months with the global pandemic.
Our aim is to remove the traditional barriers facing entrepreneurs in the hospitality industry and replace those with resources and infrastructure. Hill Street Hatch is more than just a physical space. We believe that we can de-risk the traditional concept development and remove the friction and barriers within launching hospitality concepts. We really want to reimagine the future for hospitality.
The global pandemic has devastated the hospitality industry, but in its aftermath, we've seen a rise in creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship. With many creative and talented people left without work, they've taken the opportunity to go back to the drawing board and create.
But we really know how difficult this process can be. Exorbitant rents and rates, long-term leases, business overheads, and a lack of startup capital, insurance, legal and financial acumen, not to mention the brand and design and marketing.
So our solution, in a world where we see these ideas could be the next big one, we want to help harness these individuals' creativity and entrepreneurial ideas combined with our years of hospitality experience to create a recipe for success. So we're hoping to offer these entrepreneurs support in business and operations, branding, marketing and positioning, understanding hospitality trends, strategic partnerships, and finally providing them a physical pop-up space to bring their idea to market.
Our most recent concept, the Toast Office, we launched in February, and we work with a local chef who's been Michelin star trained in a restaurant in Belfast to pull together a grilled cheese concept with local produce and high-end ingredients. We were completely blown away by the response, selling out each weekend, overwhelmed with the positive feedback and a really strong social media following. And I'm sure you've probably heard of many other people like ourselves. We've been trending seriously on TikTok. If you guys are on it, you probably have seen us at some point on there.
Some sort of cheese pull happening.
And over the last 9 weeks of residency in Hill Street, the Toast Office has turned over £120,000. And from this week on, Toast Office has moved into its own location, and we're hoping the development of future locations through multiple cities within the UK and Ireland within the next 12 months.
We're actually at the moment working alongside another Michelin trained chef, pastry chef, for our next concept called Roller Boy, which elevates the humble classic sausage roll and matches it with nostalgic desserts and a fun creative brand and marketing. we've been incubating this brand for the last kind of 2 months, working with our chef partner, and we're getting ready to launch it next week at Hill Street Hatch.
So Hill Street Hatch plans to incubate several more exciting concepts over the next 12 months and retain a majority shareholder within each. To date, Hill Street Hatch has incubated 2 concepts with 70% ownership of each brand, and we're currently in the process of partnering alongside several other brands. We recognize that the demand for a different approach within the hospitality industry is there, and we've been overwhelmed with the program to date. We've had over 100 applicants, like incredible chefs applying, wanting to get out of the kitchen and really try something new themselves.
We've been approached by large. That's time.
Oh, okay.
That's time. Brendan, thank you very much. So if you guys want to cancel out your screen share and we can open the floor to our judges. Well done.
Cheers.
Perfect. Judges, over to you. Who is going first? Naomi.
Hi, so can I just get this clear? So is it you put an opportunity out and you say to chefs if they've got an idea they can apply, and then you help them develop the concept, but you take 70%, is that right?
So we match ideas and hospitality trends with chef talent that have applied. So some of the ideas that are coming to the table are fantastic, and there's been quite a lot of cupcake bakers at home and pizza makers and that sort of thing. So we're trying to understand, our background within hospitality marketing, understand trends and match them with chef talent. And then all the support and kind of opportunities that we present will take a majority shareholding and then incentivize them through ownership, through different thresholds that we meet.
Yeah, because before this, what we have found that chefs are put into a kitchen with these incredible ideas and never given an opportunity to explore them. And what we're saying is like, actually, we want you to come on board, and actually we want you to be part of the business. You're not just going to be thrown into a kitchen and told to do the work, and then someone else is out the front. That's not what we want. And this is an entirely different kind of, I suppose, business model that hasn't really been done at the moment.
Mary.
Thanks, Colin. Thanks, folks, for your presentation. So how are you financing your business?
Ourselves. We're bootstrapping at the minute.
Yeah, we found a small pop-up location and kind of have bootstrapped, and bought second-hand equipment and all that sort of thing. But thankfully, in the last 2 months, we've had good success that we're now reinvesting into the space and looking at other locations to hopefully continue this idea of kiosk culture, which we see, prevalent in other European cities, but not so much yet in Belfast right now.
Yeah, any plans to do anything in Derry?
We'd love to. We're both Derry natives.
Can't you hear this awful accent that I have anyway? I feel like mine is I've lived away for years. You can't get rid of this, No, we're really proud to be from Derry.
And we have big ideas about Derry, because we see that there's a big growing food scene there too. So it would be nice to, be tapped into that culture and that market.
I've got loads of questions, but I'm going to let the others ask some. So thanks, guys.
Brilliant, thank you. Beth, for the last question.
So yeah, love the idea, team. I've had one of the toasties and I was looking at the post office social media and it just blew my mind how it exploded overnight. Question I have for you, is it just you two in the team, or are you looking to expand the core team in the future? What's the plans around that?
Yeah, it's currently just ourselves, supported by a design agency that I run. So we leverage a lot of our designers and marketing support and behind those brands. But the ideal scenario is that we have a good chef on at the moment that we would plan to bring on as kind of an executive chef to lead the operational side, and then we can start to really scale up and look at multiple locations across different cities, but remaining true to the Hatch kind of kiosk idea rather than the traditional model of taking on 1,000 square foot lease over 5 years or something. We like this idea of utilizing empty space or being creative with spaces. So this toast office location that's happening next week is actually formed out of a doorway in the middle of the cathedral quarter that we've built a kind of TARDIS-like structure to go into that doorway and become a space.
Yeah, we're finding that post-COVID, I think there's a lot of spaces, little small nooks and crannies within Belfast, Derry, Dungiven, where I'm from, like just and beyond. But there's like little wee nooks and crannies that I think that there's opportunity there that maybe creatively to initially look at, it's just like a little hole in the wall, but we're thinking, no, there's so much opportunity there, and we want to help. We want to help the community by doing that, placing these little opportunities in for employment and for ourselves to help grow Hill Street Hatch and our ideas.
Excellent, brilliant. Thank you all very much. I'm so hungry now as well, so thank you for doing that. Excellent, brilliant. Thank you very much. Guys. So see you soon.
All right, thanks guys.
And just while we're on the topic of food, the lovely green box that Alistair gave to me there, I'm going to show you all what was in it, because local businesses, you know, definitely a good opportunity. So lovely coffee beans, and this is from Silver Bean handcrafted coffee. So that is great. I'm a huge coffee fan. I've probably had way too much today, as you can tell by my very fast talking. Foister Stout, again, I'm a big sort of beer and stout and sort of lager lover, so delighted. It even says the legendary pearl at the bottom of it. Aren't these just beautiful?
I'm going to shout out Regional College, Northwest Regional College. They're one of the sponsors. I said, we've got these packs for you. They said, we love the packs, but we know that students need stuff at the moment. So I said, we'll take the beer out. You have your sponsor packs, but they're going to give them to some students. And I just think that's an amazing thing to do. So Finine, Regional College, careers, fantastic. Thank you.
But for now, they're going to me. So we have a granola goddess. It's a gluten-free granola, which is so lovely. Can you see that there? It's a beautiful packaging. We have some chocolate, ukulele chocolate. Obviously, chocolate is my favorite thing, so I'm delighted. Some cheese. This is Dart Mountain. The little motto is taste the time taken. Isn't that lovely? It's Banagher bold cheese. And lastly, we have barbecue sauce. And this is low and slow, sweet and smoky.
Emily, love it.
So yeah, delighted.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Just obviously, shout out again to the legendary larder, James Huey, Water City Brewery. Top man himself, obviously doing a lot of stuff for the city, obviously with the Water City Brewery. They're extending there at the moment. They got that obviously done during lockdown as well. It should hopefully open in a few months' time. More of a customer experience they're going for there as well. Obviously learning more about the beer, how it's made. That's what we're talking about, customer experience.
I mean, absolutely. And we're all in the spirit of loyalty and supporting local and retail. If you can give any of these businesses a follow on social media, or if you're able to support them in any way, please do. That's sort of the whole point of today. And we want to support our local businesses. So
absolutely. And just again, a shout out really quickly to the Derry Strabane Council for doing this. We're doing it with them. They're backing it. They're supporting us. They've helped drive this initiative during Enterprise Week. It's not easy to do a virtual thing, and I think hopefully it's coming together. So rock and roll. Next up, pitching is Link Technology, and Jonathan, more using technology, but for the greater good, for rings, So Jonathan.
So next up, we have Jonathan Smith, the founder of Link. Link Technology is the world's first next generation contact digital sizing system for jewelry e-commerce. Link Technology will revolutionize the way you purchase jewelry in the future. And Jonathan is now going to tell us exactly how they're going to do that. Over to you, Jonathan.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for the opportunity to talk with you about Link Technology. As just discussed, it's going to revolutionize the way you purchase jewelry in the future. And obviously the first question I'm going to ask you is, do you know your ring size? But hopefully by the end of this presentation, you'll understand how Link will be able to tell you your ring size. I have 20 years experience working in luxury retail, and I pivoted my career once I seen the emergence of e-commerce and the efficiencies that were coming through in the growing e-commerce over the many years, that I decided to go back and study. So I went back and did a master's in software development, and this is where the idea for Link Technology came from. I did something as well that millions of couples do every year, and that is get engaged. And this is where the idea for Link came from, that we purchase a ring online and realize that you can only get measured in a bricks and mortar jewelry store. And obviously, I'm not the only one that has a problem with this. There's 16 million annual searches across 8 languages for variations of what's my ring size. And the current solutions are in-store sizers, plastic sizers on Amazon, a piece of paper, and I even got one of my competition with me today is a piece of string. So $328 billion industry is a piece of string, is one of the solutions. Obviously, one of the examples, the global ring sales are $90 billion, online, offline sales. I mean, some examples of some of the companies involved in this, and they all share the same problem that when you try to complete a purchase on a smartphone, that you need to know your ring size. And unless, like Tiffany's example here, unless you have a printer, a piece of paper, or a pair of scissors, you can't complete that purchase. So Link wants to be the stripe for sizing and in this environment as well. So that's where we see ourselves. And how do we solve this problem? So we've got a 99.9% accurate ring sizing solution, uses AI machine learning. It's an API that's integrated into the website. So users click on it. It'll be a seamless contactless solution, one-touch measurement, scan the hand with the camera, and you can use it anywhere as well. And obviously the benefits for the customer and to the jewelry e-commerce is universal global sizing standardization. So you can purchase a ring from anywhere in the world. It'll boost conversion, reduce cart abandonment, reduce returns decrease, and obviously reduction of carbon footprint globally to make the sales process and customer practices more efficient. And obviously the key data insights in improving sales funnel, supply, and the manufacturing chain as well. Currently with an interest from LVMH Group and De Beers. I've had ongoing conversations with them. And the funds today would be amazing to help us on this journey to reach our beta pilot stage, which we hopefully will partner with these companies as well. And a breakdown of our percentage is that our business model is a percentage transaction on the rings purchase, so on the conversions. And
30 seconds.
Okay, and our future developments will be looking at risk measurement for bracelets and watches, measuring hands for bespoke gloves, and integration with the current AR and VR for future e-commerce as well. So hopefully you now will know in the next 6 months with Link Technology what your ring size will be.
Perfect, brilliant. Thank you very much, Jonathan. Over to our judges now.
Jonathan,
Sure.
if you could just stop the cancel your slide there.
Okay.
Sorry, buddy.
Sure.
Thanks, mate.
Just let me intro that again when you've done.
Sorry, Colin. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, no problem. And now over to our judges for questions.
So I'll start with this one since I too am very, very familiar with ring sizing as of late. So what are you doing to stay ahead of potential competition? The software development world is pretty agile. I mean, obviously with the introduction of new technology like LiDAR on phones, for example, you have the opportunity to kind of expand this out. Apple, for example, is pushing the bounds of what's possible within this kind of consumer market space. And looking at, so what are you doing to kind of leg up against that? Because you can't be the only player in the market that's doing this.
Yeah, well, I mean, how we will consolidate our goal is obviously speed to market. So with our funding, it's getting market embedding them with our clients as well. Obviously LiDAR, yeah, it's on the iPhone 12, but it's not mass market quite yet. So we're probably about 12 months ahead. Again, the jewelry market's notoriously it's controlled by the 5 to 10 main players. They're not as adaptive early adopters to technology. Hence De Beers, for example, they spend billions on their mining systems, but not on their front end. So it's acceleration to market, which is going to be key for this project, and that's where I see the opportunity.
Perfect, thank you, Audrey.
So I want to get a better understanding as to where the volume of this is. So engagement rings are purchased once, whereas everyday wear rings are purchased frequently. So where do you see the volume if you're transactional and you're only taking a small margin of a £30 ring versus a £3,000 ring?
Yeah, well, that a basic transaction model over like an average. So basically, I can see it between a $30 and a $500 ring as well, because obviously you've got Etsy, Amazon, eBay. Will be hopefully using the system as well. And the majority of that now also as well, the exciting thing is that we don't know, will people purchase a $6,000 ring? Because technically you can't purchase a $6,000 ring on a smartphone yet because the technology's not there. So it's a bit like saying, you know, Louis Vuitton said in the early 2000s, no one's going to buy a $10,000 handbag online. Yes, they are. I mean, I can buy a £30,000 car on my mobile phone and have it delivered tomorrow, but I still can't buy a $6,000 ring. on a site. So again, this is it's going to be a growing market. Obviously, there's loads of new product companies entering the market as well, because the online jewelry market's actually like even Will Smith started his own jewelry company because it's easy to access an online environment, whereas the traditional bricks and mortar is a bit more harder to get established. So there's plenty of opportunity for growth as well, which I see.
Mary?
Hi, Jonathan.
Hi.
My question is linked to what Audrey has just asked you, actually. I'd like, can you just tell us why you've chosen such a complicated business model? Like, why on earth wouldn't you just license the product to the likes of Tiffany?
Well, again, I'd be looking at a licensing model as well. I mean, that was just, I've been working either doing transactional, it could be a hybrid actually of both, Mary, to be honest. It could be a licensing and a transactional model depending on the increase. So maybe for smaller companies, maybe a subscription-based model, and for other companies, may work on a transactional basis as well. So again, that's still in practice as well to sort of work on that in our customer discovery. So hopefully, once we start partnering with the likes of say LVMH or De Beers, we can get more information on that and have a lighthouse company to work with to help develop it further.
Good stuff. Jonathan, well done. Good pitch as always. I'm just holding up my coffee cup there because that's Sandwich Co. You live in Belfast, don't you?
I do.
Sandwich Co are in Belfast now.
They are.
There you go. Happy days. So Sandwich Co have got about 3-4 coffee shops in Derry. Belfast
and
now. So
sandwiches are brilliant.
There you go. We've
shout
just
out to Sandwich Co.
Sandwich Co. We've just had some sandwiches from them and tray bakes, the best. So thank you, Paul, and the team at Sandwich Co for supporting us with the event. Next up, talking of supporting local, is Joseph with Anita Delivery.
So next up, we have Joseph McVeigh, the founder of Anita Delivery. And Anita Delivery is a local app in Derry that does deliveries from local shops and butchers in its local community. So Joseph, over to you.
Yeah, how's the farm? The idea for the app actually was myself personally, the people that I know who would have anxiety and depression and things like that, who find it very difficult to actually go to the shop, because there's always anybody can go on to Just Eat their breeds and get from a fish shop, but no one can get from a shop. So that was the reason why I had the idea. So we released the app about 4 weeks before the pandemic, just on a test flight, and then COVID happened. So we had to just keep it going, and then it's just been crazy ever since. We have 2 local shops and a local butcher's on it, and an off license, and we have fish shops now looking to join on board, local shops, like a bag shops and stuff like that. And then we're looking to go to Strabane next with it. We were speaking to a few people up there as well, so we're looking to expand already. We have 7 delivery drivers at the moment, and it hasn't stopped. Like, it's what are we, our sales at the minute now, we're just in the total of over 180,000 in sales on Anita Delivery since we started last year, and we hope to triple that by next year when we bring on more businesses. The app is built so user friendly that we have a couple of regular customers that we know. One of the fellas is an 82-year-old man, and he said that Anita's the first app he's ever used, which was really fantastic feedback when he said this, you know. So we have people actually in Glasgow and England who uses Anita so they can get stuff delivered to their parents' house here in Derry, and just at the border of Muff. And a partnership, when it comes to the business owners, it's very easy for them to join up for people who wouldn't be very computer literate and things like that. So we built a terminal for them when they can upload their own images, their own prices, and take away at special offers. And that's what kind of makes us different from the likes of all our app developers, because they have to contact them to sell it to them. Contact them and say, look, we need to change this and we need to change that. Whereas the shops can do it themselves. And once they hit save, that just automatically uploads on the app on real time. Anything that they do on it, once they hit save, it just comes on the app right away. So that's a shop editor we built. We are looking to build now to make it even easier again, where the shop owners can go around the shops with their mobile phone and scan products. So then they upload to the app, because it does be kind of time consuming. So we're going to build like a scanner that they can go around and scan it and put it on
30
the app
seconds.
and make it a lot faster. So the next move is we would love to expand into like Strabane is our next move. And we also supply the delivery drivers as well. Although a lot of apps and stuff don't actually do that. So we supply the drivers for the shops when they join Anita, so they have nothing to worry about there also. I think that's really helpful. If you have any questions yourselves or trying
Perfect,
not to
Joseph, thank you very much.
ramble on here, sorry.
Naomi has a question.
Yeah, I have a
Naomi has a question.
So you say that you made £180,000 worth of sales.
Yeah.
Is that on the commission that you've earned?
No,
Right.
that's in total
Okay.
of the sales that's went through in Anita Delivery.
So how do you make money from it?
We could take 10%.
Okay.
We take 10% of every sale plus 50p of every delivery that goes through Anita.
Okay.
So the shop owners are really happy.
Okay. And do you think this is a scalable business?
Yes, it's not costing me much to run Anita, and the shop owners and all very excited. And one of the shop owners had told me here a couple of months back, like he's like, only for Anita Delivery, he says we would have lost staff, you know, and stuff, and cut their hours and stuff down as well for staff members. Where it's the other way about, they brought on extra staff and they brought on extra stock. That's from the shop owners themselves, was telling me.
Okay. And is there any reason why because obviously, you know, you sort of tested this 4 weeks before, then we had the pandemic.
Yes.
And you said that you've got 2 shops, a butcher's and an off license on board.
Yes.
Was there any reason why you didn't get, because I imagine that there's lots of independent businesses in Derry. Was there any reason why more businesses didn't come on board?
They were a great question. We were too busy.
Right, okay.
We are like, it's been so crazy. And as I say, Anita was just out on test flight, so the app wasn't even finished. But we just kept it running. So while we were keeping it running, then we were doing updates late at night, working the all hours to get the updates done when the app was fitting to close. And it was just like Everglades Hotel wanted to join us. They do afternoon teas. Da Vinci's Hotel and all of the Da Vinci's off license, the chill off licenses also wanted on board. And we were like, we can't physically take you on board because we're too busy and we can't get reliable drivers. So, you know, it was that there was the main reason. Now, and at that time we didn't have the shop editor as well. So that means that our programmers would have had to upload every item. Like one of the shops that's on board has over 2,000 items on the app for you to do a shop on. So like we don't have the time to be putting the products on for you. And at that time we have to do it because we didn't have the shop editor. But now the shop editor is built and we're actually going to expand that now and make it a wee bit better. As I was saying earlier, where they can scan the products, you know.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Last question.
Hey,
I
Joseph.
think, yes.
Yeah, no, that was really great. And I love the idea behind it, particularly for the elderly. Is the focus going to be in independent shops or will you look at like the likes of Tesco, bigger brands, that sort of idea?
Now at the minute, local shops, they need it more than anything. Like you have to look after your own, but everybody can join. We're very open-minded and we do want a lot more people on board, but the local shops and local people is where it starts with us, you know, and that's our concept. And like the next move in would be hopefully Strabane and stuff and just keep going. You know, we had a couple of people looking to invest on Anita. We're just waiting on word back. One of the fellows was the YouTuber boy, Adam B. He had actually sent us an email as well, and then he added me on Facebook and messaged me, which he's a regular, uses Anita flat out. But absolutely, things could change and we could go to a bigger scale. I don't see why not, but at the minute, local stuff.
Happy days. Do you know what? Joseph is a proper entrepreneur. I love it. Absolutely love him. Just his honesty, his passion for wanting to make a difference, the fact that he's doing something, that's what we need more of, isn't it, really?
Yeah, absolutely. And even this morning, we've seen so many inspiring entrepreneurs who have done amazing things over the pandemic and will continue to do so through this. Everything from data insights and analytics right through to retail on the high street. And honestly, it's just been so eye-opening, the amazing things that the local community are doing.
Yeah, and the other thing, obviously, even let's go globally on this. The people that are surviving at the moment are the people that are having to really pivot or really change or really look at what they're doing and making a difference that way. And sometimes during a recession or during a crisis, that's when brilliant ideas come forward. So I think we're seeing them. Love Hill Street, love Link, love Joseph and his passion there as well.
Oh my goodness, the talent in the pitch competition that we've seen today has been extraordinary.
Yeah.
Every business has pitched so well, and they've all answered the judges' questions so well, which is it's really hard to do under pressure.
Yeah.
Now, given it's maybe not as intimidating as if you're standing up in front of them, but it's still pretty hard, especially when you have to deal with connectivity issues, etc.
Absolutely. And I think obviously everybody, wherever you are, let's say in the world, because we don't know where everyone's coming in. If you can comment maybe on Facebook Live or via Zoom, just to let us know obviously where you're listening in from today. But I think we've all got the same challenges, haven't we? It's all about kind of like facing up, looking after yourself, looking after your own, supporting your local business, supporting obviously the local growth of business as well, and the ability to change as well, change our streets, change our high streets, and support the retail sector. So that's the next section over. We have a little break now before we're back at 2 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, we are talking about entrepreneurship and innovation, namely around both local and internationally, how you can create opportunity, economic growth, and initiate real change. So we want to know about what opportunities exist to thrive, whether that's as individuals, whether that's as companies, or whether that's as regions. So we'll see you back here at 2 o'clock. You can use the same Zoom link, by the way. We've been a bit cheeky. You're just using the same Zoom link all day, so you don't need to leave us. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, if you want to book something for tomorrow, just go on to Startacus, startacus.eventbrite.com. You'll find the tickets for tomorrow. We're doing a speed networking event at 6 o'clock this evening. The startups will find out who's won at 3:40 tomorrow afternoon. Book into that as a separate event as well. Let's see what we've got now. Just to play us out, we've got a local band, Waldorf and Cannon with Dear Richard. Thank you.
Station.